You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! Greatness awaits? Question mark? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 140. I am one of your hosts, your favorite Portland Mexican, back in business today, Christian Macias, and I am joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM.
Hi.
Hi. The Nintendo aficionado, Roro.
Hello.
And one half of the Men Engage podcast, Gage Dempster, aka Gilbo Biggins.
Howdy.
Ooh, I like that. Cowboy. Save a horse. Ride me. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN, twitch.tv/Podcast PXN, and Twitter as well. The topic of the show this week is PlayStation Plus Premium Woes. But first, the show always starts... Actually, no. The show's going to start with something a bit different today, all right?
Ooh.
No, not a new. First and foremost, our hearts go out to the victims over at Uvalde, Texas. NPR has a great resource article titled How to Help Uvalde School Shooting, with tons of resources for local blood banks, fundraisers, and other volunteer work. So if you are nearby that area or thinking, or not nearby that area and thinking of ways to help out, you can do so with that link. And also just a call for gun reform. It is way past due. Terrible what happened. Terrible.
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay. But now we are going to jump into the news of the week, starting with our quick bites. We're going to do maybe a bit quicker, because last week's show was like 2 hours long. I heard it. 1 hour and 51 minutes. And it was just two of you guys. Yeah. What were you doing?
It was out of control.
Yeah.
I love it.
Starting off with maybe some good news. Actually, no, this is great news, but maybe some good speculative news. This comes from the PS blog. God of War Ragnarok explains accessibility options in their newest blog post. I'm going to highlight some... Oh no.
Whoopsie.
I linked the wrong... Yeah, I had a Nibbles tweet, which had a great rundown of all the links, because the PS blog kind of separates it into different paragraphs. So while I find that, I want to start off by asking the speculative question here real quick, and I know it's quick bites, but whatever. This is like the ramp up of God of War Ragnarok kind of media. This is the beginning of the kind of hype cycle, the commercials, so to speak. Could this be indicative of a fall release date? Dan, I know God of War is on your Fantasy Critic League. Would this be great news for you if it released in the fall?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think that would give me a huge win, Christian. I just posted the link in the doc, by the way.
I just found it as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I would love to give it a 10 out of 10 on my Fantasy Critic draft, but yeah. Release it.
Okay. Let's quickly highlight some of the accessibility options. This will include subtitle and caption improvements, which is great. Text and icon sizes, you can change those. Controller remapping is a huge one. Love to see that in a first-party title. High contrast mode and more 60+ options. I think as of lately, Sony has been doing a great job at like introducing more accessibility into their first-party titles. And for this to be like the ramp up of any kind of media from God of War, starting with accessibility, I think it is freaking fantastic. So very happy to see this.
Yeah. This is awesome. The Last of Us, I think, really helped with this, and I hope that more and more games just continue to have all these accessibility options for sure. And fingers crossed that this game does come out this year as well. I'm with Dan. I would love that.
No, delay it. I don't want Dan to win. Some more good news. This comes from the Xbox side, and this is from Alex Aniel on Twitter. Xbox Series Series S by itself outsold the PS5 in Japan. Some figures. The Xbox Series S sold 6,120. Xbox Series X was 105, and the PS5 was 2,963. I again linked the wrong article in that hyperlink. Let's hope it doesn't continue for the rest of the docket.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Either way, yeah.
I'm sure it won't. It was just a simple slip up. No, this is crazy, actually. Series S. I think I think honestly, the Series S was probably what Microsoft was banking on, like being the most affordable next gen console. Them saying like, "Hey, if you want to be on next gen, play the next gen games at a nice $299 price point, here you go." Like it's the same or less than the Switch. So like that's insane to me. Like the amount of power that little box has. But yeah, crazy.
Dude, what's crazy to me is like think about how like the Japanese market, like that was never like an Xbox heavy market, and for it to be like outselling the PS5 is like huge, an absolute win for the Xbox team.
And
congrats, Phil.
Of course, could be supply chain related as well. Can't get enough PS5s in there.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Moving on, some more great news. Witcher 3 confirmed. Next gen Witcher 3 is coming Q4 2022, and it will include all the DLC. I will be replaying. Probably not the game, but I will be playing for the first time the DLC. So I'm stoked.
Very excited for this. I tried to get back into it on PC and I broke it by trying to mod it. I've done fresh installs. I've purged everything, and every time I boot up the game, the only thing you can see on Geralt is his neckline, and then everywhere else where there's either hair or armor is just invisible. So I wanted to get back into The Witcher and just kind of play around, like you said, Christian, not play the whole game, but just kind of get back into that world. And it's just not an option on PC anymore. So I am very excited for this. I will be picking this up on the Series X. This cannot come soon enough. The show has gotten me kind of wanting to get back into this world.
CDPR needs a win too, and I feel like releasing it, and if it releases with no issues like whatsoever, it'd be big for them. I think so.
Right.
Here's hoping. Moving on, some cool news. Striking Distance Studios' game, The Callisto Protocol, is the cover of this month's Game Informer issue, and the two screenshots they shared look absolutely stunning and terrifying. The second one in particular, I guess the one that covers it, with the like two-faced head in the back with its like unhinged jaw opening up, absolutely terrifying. Can't wait. I'm super excited about this game now.
Yeah, looks real disgusting. Love it. We're getting this and Dead Space remake. Let's go.
Someone had on the podcast last week, Dan. I think you were talking about Dead Space remake hitting. I think RE4 remake possibly hitting, having now this, and then I'm gonna throw in the Last of Us remake if the rumors are true, having that out.
Yeah.
Survival horror back in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Having a renaissance moment for sure.
It was Alan Wake 2, Dan, that you referenced.
Yes.
It was Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, another really good one that looks really good.
Yeah, can't wait for all these games. Speaking of games I can't wait for, there was a Multiverses gameplay breakdown. I think you guys talked about Multiverses, like the trailer for it, I think last week on Quick Bites.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have an actual gameplay breakdown. So we got to see a look at like characters, like when they're actually moving, like how Tom and Jerry, the moveset is just Tom trying to attack Jerry. Yeah, which is fantastic. Or like Velma, who when Velma crawls on the floor, the whole screen goes blurry because she's looking for her glasses. There's a full 8-minute video. You can follow that on IGN for more in-depth look at Multiverses, which looks actually really fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, it looks great.
I'm rooting for this. I'm not gonna play it at all, but I'm rooting for it. I would love to see more competition in that.
It's free. You won't even try it?
Oh, is it free?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I will absolutely try it. Podcast PXN game night Multiverses.
Should we?
Yeah, absolutely. We should.
Yes.
We should start doing that stuff more. Absolutely.
Yep.
Who's gonna be your main?
I'm gonna be Raggy. Ruh-roh.
Ooh. I was thinking Velma, honestly. I like
You're
Velma.
such a perv.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I'm not gonna deny it. But yeah, Velma or Wonder Woman probably. I like Tom and Jerry's moveset though. That's really creative stuff. I like that. And I would love to see more characters show up as well. But yeah, it being free is just awesome.
Bugs Bunny.
Arya Stark is in this too, isn't she? Maybe I'll give that a go. That's cool.
I want to look at the whole roster real quick.
Yeah.
I'm boring, and we do like Batman or something.
There's Bugs Bunny, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
Iron
Shaggy,
Got Jake the dog.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I hated the Iron Giant's in this. I love the Iron Giant, but I just hate.
This goes against everything he stands
does.
for.
I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine.
The entire point of the movie is undone with him going in and just beating people mercilessly for fun.
But like that doesn't take away anything from the movie,
No,
you know.
I know it doesn't ruin the movie, but I just don't know if I'll play as him. I don't know if that makes sense for me in my heart.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Who is Rhindog?
Rhindog, I think, is a new character for this game.
Nothing much. How about you?
Oh.
Okay, Rhindog's an OG character?
Oh my god.
An original character?
Yeah, he is.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry.
I think so.
Right, moving on. This news is for me and Gage only. Modern Warfare 2 key art has been revealed with a trailer, and let me tell you, it's not just the key art of Ghost, which rocks. It's the whole Task Force 141. And there's a thread posted. You can see screen grabs of Price, of Gaz, of Ghost, of course, of Soap, and of Colonel Alejandro Vargas.
Now I've got some exciting news for you, Christian. Plot twist
me.
here, because I like to keep my ear to the ground in the whole rumors and leaks department. Apparently, one of the editions of this game leaked, and it says that you get skins for multiplayer for Task Force 141 Red Team, which includes none other. Well, this is just a leak, grain of salt, but it lists Soap, Gaz, like it lists half of these guys, and it lists Farah as well. Please come back.
Ooh.
Claudia Dumet, please come back. I love her as an actress. She's fantastic.
Farah was a great character.
Farah's my favorite character in that entire game. So if she's back in Task Force 141, like if there's a mission that takes place in her country and she's back, like that'd be fucking cool.
I was going just like doe-eyed just at the idea of having Gaz and Ghost interact in this like the same game, because that in the OG trilogy that doesn't happen. Like Gaz is no longer after Modern Warfare 1, so I don't know. I'm excited.
Kind of having it's cool, yeah. They're having both fan favorites like in the same game. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah. God damn it! For all the shit I gave Activision, like this, like key art alone is like, damn it! I'm excited for Call of Duty again, and you know what? It's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be a good game.
Guys,
I hope it is at least.
I just want to jump in real quick. 13 minutes remaining, and Breath of the Wild is tied with Elden Ring.
Oh my god!
This is awesome.
Why
Best
are you
open world
doing this?
game.
Can we get a vote check? What's the percentages all around?
Yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 14.8%, Elden Ring 36.1%, Fallout New Vegas 13.1%, and Breath of the Wild 36.1%. They're tied.
Ooh, it's getting close.
Yeah.
What if it ends?
This has been such a back and forth.
I say if it ends in a tie, we take a vote of us four, and then if that ends in a tie, then I don't know what we do. So
we cancel the podcast.
Yeah.
This is a great time, real quick, for me to read something for you, and this is looking ahead at one of the short segments, but whatever. We have a few minutes left on the whatever. Doesn't matter. So, how much time is left? 12 minutes left on the poll for greatest open world game of all time. And a few minutes ago, Dan tweets, "All right, my hand has been forced. If I can get this poll to a Breath of the Wild win, I will personally give away a $25 Nintendo eShop gift card and randomly choose one person who likes this tweet to win it after the poll ends. Vote Breath of the Wild." So when Breath of the Wild wins, I want everyone to know why it won. Not for the right reasons, but because Dan is selling $25 e-card.
Hey,
my
God.
You do what you got to do to win.
Can I be honest? And you know what? It's kind of reassuring in a way, Dan, because you and I kind of think the same way. You'll notice that for the longest time, Fallout New Vegas was sitting at the back of the pack with 1 or 2 votes.
Yeah.
I may or may not have taken a trip to r/Fallout New Vegas and made a post telling the good people of the Mojave Wasteland to come to this random Twitter account and show their force. And lo and behold, we came back to tie for 3rd. Dan, I love your line of thinking because I played dirty immediately as well.
It's terrible.
Me and Ro are the ones that played fair. By the way,
that's what Peter Parker would do.
Yeah. Oh, Ro, I wish I voted Spider-Man now.
And you know what that got Peter Parker? 3rd place, Ro.
He's fine with it. He's such a great guy. He's like, he's letting you guys win, honestly.
I love beating up citizens without due process. That's my favorite thing to do.
I do want everyone to know that I did like the tweet as well, just so I can enter the $25 giveaway.
That would be great if you got it.
Eric just posted in the chat, bribes are a crime, and you know who fights crime? I know, Spider-Man. Yeah.
Fighting, yeah.
Spider-Man.
I like to think of... Never mind, I'm not going to say it. Our last quick bite. Sad news. Sorry, Gage. Sorry, all of us. Replace officially gets a delay to 2023. But you know what? Like, take your time, because that game looks really cool, and rather it be a good game than anything else. So, and look at that, Gage in the replies to this tweet saying, "Take all the time you guys need. Very excited to see what you guys have been cooking up. Stay safe."
Yes.
Amazing.
I'm really excited for this game. This game looks awesome. I'm right here with Gage on this one. Obviously, take your time with it. We'll wait. But yeah, really cool indie game. Looks awesome. I just wanted to also mention, I think we missed the Norman Reedus story on Quick Bites. Did we do that one?
I placed it in Street Meet.
Oh, okay. Never mind. My bad.
Oh, it's also in Quick Bites.
Is it both?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I meant to delete it from Quick Bites and put it in Street Meet. Which is now.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Everyone. And why did I put this in Street Meet? Because, I don't know, this has the same energy from Goofy's voice actor. Be like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is totally almost done, you know? Like, I don't know. We just don't know. Maybe this has more merit, too, though. Norman Reedus confirms Death Stranding sequel is in production? Question mark? This came in a recent interview with IO Edit, I think was... Anyway, they're just interviewing Norman Reedus, and he talks about how they've supposedly started to work on a new Death Stranding, so there you have it. Is it going to happen?
Yes.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. The framing of this conversation, because they were interviewing him about something else, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, and he did a video game with Kojima, and his answer and the way he answered, you can tell that it was totally a slip up, and I think it's true, because I think he just said, yeah, you know, we're working on the second one now. It's very exciting, and it seems like I don't know, everything about it kind of seems like the genuine slip up that someone would have, and just Norman Reedus is not a gamer. He's not in that space, so like it totally makes sense to me that he wouldn't understand how big of a deal it is to keep those things under wraps. So I think it's probably true. Death Stranding was a huge success for Kojima, and there's a lot of interesting ways that they could go with this sequel. I want to shout out you and your tweet, which was, I didn't even think about it, was fantastic, but sort of keeping that theme of making a positive impact in a video game, where it's like the first game is about rebuilding and reconnecting. What if the second game is about like sustainable energy and positive climate action, and sort of like a solar punk type thing? That'd be fucking cool. I thought that was a great idea. I didn't think about that at all, and I saw your tweet and I was like, that's fucking brilliant. So I would love to see this, and I think this is probably true. I think they are working on a sequel.
Okay, did you play the first Death Stranding?
I didn't. No, I'm gonna pick it up on PC. I didn't have a PlayStation. I had already sold my PlayStation 4 before it came out, so I'm gonna pick it up on probably Steam next time there's a good sale. Or no, what I'm waiting for is the what is it? It's a director's cut. Yes. Yeah. For that to come to Steam. So yeah, and then I'll pick it up.
I do want to say, like, Death Stranding has like the ultimate vibes. Like when the rain hits and the camera pans out and like Kojima's like selected song that he wants to play like starts playing and the name of the artist pops up. It's like, I'm playing this. This is kind of
so ready. I'm so ready for it.
Yeah, I would love the second one. Whoa, what is happening in the thread here?
I just added that. I don't know if you guys care or
if
want
we
that
saw
or
it,
not, but
it's kind of hard to miss.
there's some new info in there, so I didn't know if you wanted to cover anything.
Let's read this now, but I want everyone to know that Dan picked like 400 font, a highlight 46. It's not that crazy, just to highlight it. This comes from Jonathan Dornbush on Twitter. PSVR 2 already confirmed to have over 20 games at launch from first and third parties, which is awesome. And he says, really hope we get to see PSVR 2 in detail soon. Very hopeful for the hardware. Maybe in June with the, rumored kind of showcase.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good launch lineup right there. Well, we don't know what the games are, but at least there are 20 of them.
Yeah.
So that's a good start for sure.
Hopefully Horizon, since they have a logo
right?
there. Yeah. That'd be cool.
And they would need something to launch. A huge heavy hitter launch with PSVR 2. So
somebody, I think Ryan McCaffrey, I saw posted today that it would be really cool to get Half-Life Alyx ported to PSVR 2. That'd be a really good one.
Oh, Absolutely, yeah. I'm thinking about buying that on PC because there's some cool John Wick type mods that I want to play. So. Anyway, I also included some more speculative news here in Street Meet. In a new conference, TCL has speculated that a new Xbox Series X/S and PS5 Pro are coming in 2023/2024. I don't know how much merit this has. Again, it is just them speculating. But like, it makes sense. Iterative hardware has been like a thing now. We even saw it with Nintendo. I mean, they do it all the time with their DSs, but they did it with Switch, which was huge. And then, of course, with PS4 Pros and the Xbox equivalent last gen, it makes sense that they would want to do this for next gen as well. It seems a little early, personally, I think. And then with, the shortages and with COVID, it makes it seem like less likely. Since people still can't even get regular PS5s, it seems a little bit early to have PS5 Pros. But who knows? Maybe by that time, by 2024, I'll feel different. So,
yeah, I think it's gonna bank on supply chain for sure. Because PS4 Pro, that came 4 years after PS4 standard, right? That was 2013 to 2017, I think. So that would be right in that time frame. But I think if the supply chain's still an issue, I seriously doubt they'll put out a new console. That's a little that would be in bad taste, I feel like.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just agreeing with Dan. Yeah, I think that, and with you, Christian, that I think it's really soon to be doing something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think I could really add much more onto it. I like with the supply chain stuff. Is like, are you going to have enough parts to even make this new thing, or how many of these are going to be in the wild? Probably not a lot. So I think a little bit more time in the oven would be good for everybody. To get your hands on what's already available and kind of work on the new spec, the new model a little bit more as well.
And I'm not even going to talk about Xbox here, although I'm sure you guys might agree this is true, but it feels like PS5 still hasn't even hit its stride yet. Like, we've gotten a slew of some great games, but it still hasn't felt like, yes, we're building an actual quality library of games here. Like, by then, we'll have God of War, maybe Final Fantasy, the next Spider-Man. We'll have, of course, Ratchet and Clank and stuff, but it doesn't feel like, all right, now time to buy a new one. So, and even more so with Xbox. So yeah, we'll see. Although I would probably buy one, and I would buy a disc one this time because I want to watch some movies on this thing. Dan, give me a time frame. What are we at for best open world game?
We are. Let me just go back here because I decided to stupidly exit the poll. It is at 3 minutes remaining, and we are still at the same poll positions that we were a few minutes ago.
No.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll vote on the top one, right? Between Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild would be my assumption. I don't know what else to do.
We literally need a tiebreaker. What the
We got a tiebreaker for Gage's poll just from somebody randomly replying.
It's
Fallout New
DJ,
Vegas.
it's DJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's skip that for now, and we'll go into what you got for me, and then we can go back.
Sounds good.
Dan, we'll start with you.
Yo. What? Oh, wait. Did we do the news of the week?
Let's go into PXN News of the Week, which I totally skipped over. I'm so sorry. Your size 46 font threw me off.
Sorry.
It sneaks up on you, right? I also forget that all the time when I post.
Yeah. This comes from Video Game Chronicles. We've got only 2 items here for you, some meaty items. Xbox passed on making a Marvel game. This article actually isn't very long. I was reading it earlier, and I actually want to read most, if not all of it to you, because it's super interesting. In an excerpt from Stephen L. Kent's 2021 book, The Ultimate History of Video Games, Volume 2, Executive Vice President and Head of Marvel Games, Jay Ong, explains how the company cut its earlier deal with Activision short in search of a better partnership. According to Ong, Marvel Games wasn't happy with the quality of the Spider-Man games being published by Activision, and the two companies mutually agreed to terminate their licensing deal early. Those games did end up being kind of booty a little bit, but some of them are good. Ong said that when the deal was made to walk away, Activision asked, "What are you going to do with this IP after you get it back?" To which Ong replied, "I'm going to find a better home for it." According to Ong, Activision reply was, "Good luck finding your unicorn." Which is hilarious now in hindsight. Ong said Marvel Games then went to both Xbox and PlayStation to see if either of them would be interested in forming an exclusive partnership, asking them, "We don't have any big console deals with anyone right now. What would you like to do?" Microsoft's strategy, Ong recalls, was to focus on its own IP, and as such, it decided to pass the offer. And then, of course, we'll skip ahead. We all know Sony ended up wanting to go on this, but this is cool quote right here. I said, "We have a dream that this is possible, that we could beat Arkham and have one game at least, and maybe multiple games that could drive adoption of your platform." And then they eventually gave that game to the Marvel game to Insomniac, which would end up being Spider-Man, and it was critically lauded. Great game. So my question to the gang is, I don't know. There was that quote there that Xbox is wanting to focus on its own IP. And I almost feel like that's the right move. Gage is shaking his head no. Why?
Well, it is the right move, but I mean, like, that's not going super swimmingly over in Xbox's corner, focusing on their own IP. I mean, it definitely needs to be done. It like there are, franchises that we've talked about quite a lot on this podcast that definitely need to have the ship steered right. But I'm just shaking my head at the idea that they passed up on any sort of. It seems like they came to them, that Marvel kind of came to them with very much like open arms and sort of saying like, hey, what kind of deal can we do? Like, with very much like a room for negotiation. And it's just crazy to me that Xbox didn't even think to sort of maybe keep that option open at all. But I do agree that Xbox needs to fix their own IP. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, and I should also bring up these conversations were happening in about early to mid 2014. So this is like, the fiasco, if you want to call it that, of Xbox One, I think, at that time.
Yep.
When they really had to pivot more to game centric because the focus on TV.
Which 2014, that's right when Phil took over, because
I think so.
Yeah. Early 2014. So it does make sense why they did it. It just, the timing of it. I think if the timing was now as opposed to back then, Phil would say, yeah, let's totally do this. But back then they had like 5 first party studios. I think like they were lacking severely in that regard. And that was the first thing Phil needed to do, was build first party studios, build, IP that they actually own. Having Spider-Man exclusive would be great in the short term, but in the long term, that wasn't going to be beneficial to Xbox.
I will apologize. I totally missed that it was back in 2014. That makes total sense, because at that point you have Phil running around plugging 18 holes in the Xbox ship going, yeah, not right now. I got other things to worry about. So that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
The podcast PXN Best Open World Game poll has officially ended with Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild tied.
Wow.
So, congrats to them both. We will get back to that in just a minute. Back to Xbox. Okay. If Xbox were to take this kind of deal, I thought it'd be kind of fun just to ask, like, what game do you think an Xbox Marvel game could have turned out to be, and which studio do you think would have worked on it? I wrote in the notes, maybe the Coalition. I think they're a high caliber studio there at Microsoft, could have made something cool, and just postulated Punisher there.
Oh, that would be sick. A third person, like, action shooter Punisher. Oh,
I'll do you one better, and I'm actually going to use the Coalition as well.
Nice.
And I think maybe my mind immediately went to something else, because ever since Neil Druckmann mentioned making a Punisher game, I think that actually Naughty Dog would be perfect for that. I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 is already a Punisher game, really, in the grand scheme of things. If that game came to PC, you just put a swap on Abby's character, and you've got a post-apocalyptic Punisher game. But the Coalition, I think they would make a kick-ass M for mature Hulk game. First of all, every character in Gears is already a Hulk. They already have Hulk proportions, so that's fine. Secondly, like, I think of the old, like, early 2000s game. I think it was based off the Eric Bana movie, where you could just, like,
jump around,
fling yourself across and, like, pick up people and throw them and stuff like that. It's like nowadays with, like, modern ragdoll physics and stuff like that, and, like, Havoc physics systems and stuff like that, it'd be so cool. Like, I think Coalition could absolutely kill a Hulk game and just bring that brutality from Gears of War and, like, the saw guns and all that stuff, but hey, you're somebody who's got 12 feet on anyone that you need to fight, so go nuts. I think that'd be so cool.
Well, now with like the studios that they have now, I would love to see like a Black Widow game, maybe from Arcane, since they do stealth really cool.
Oh,
I think that'd be pretty neat pairing, I think.
right.
But I mean, it's funny to think that Xbox had Insomniac at one point, and they were working on Sunset Overdrive. Maybe even they could have had what PlayStation has now if things were to go differently. But yeah, I would love to see like a Black Widow game, a stealth Black Widow game. That would be kind of cool.
Very cool. I want someone to make a Shang-Chi game, just martial arts, you know?
Yes.
Captain America game, please. Anybody?
Yeah, we had that. Didn't we already have one of those?
Did we?
There's a Thor game. Or a Thor game.
I think there was one of every. There was a time where these games were made in like a year and a half to come out with the movies. So I'm sure that there's been one of every.
Yeah.
Eric says he's still waiting on his Remedy Doctor Strange game, which would be
Ooh.
awesome.
That was a fantastic idea. There was a Twitter trend of like last year where it was like pick a studio and pick an IP, and I think that was one of the big ones that blew up where it was like Remedy and Doctor Strange.
I've got it. Ninja Theory, Captain America. Let's go.
What?
Melee combat. Melee
No,
combat.
that's so wasted. That's the least interesting part of Hellblade.
Ninja
Theory and Moon Knight or something like that. Yeah,
Captain America could still be cool.
Moon Knight, and that's a better suggestion.
I love Cap.
That was a horrible pitch.
You remember?
Horrible pitch.
Remember Civil War? I was on hashtag Team Cap. All right.
Right.
Shame.
Moving on. This comes from Kotaku. EA reportedly looking to sell or merge. I'm going to read from this article. The video game market is consolidating like never before, and EA is scrambling like everyone else. The Battlefield and FIFA maker recently pursued a merger with NBC Universal and also held potential acquisition talks with Disney, Apple, and other companies, according to a new report by Puck. While a deal isn't currently in the works, it doesn't sound like EA plans to give up anytime soon. I'm going to skip ahead just to this quote. Several sources familiar with these talks say EA has been persistent in pursuing a sale and has only grown more emboldened in the wake of the Microsoft Activision deal. Others say that EA is primarily interested in a merger arrangement that would allow Wilson, the current CEO, to remain as chief executive of the combined company. So it seems like they're looking more for a merger rather than an actual sell, because Wilson wants to remain in charge. And so I ask, I don't, because the big thing I think that was coming up when I saw this tweet go live is that like, oh, Sony should pick this up. Microsoft has Activision, Sony should pick up EA. I don't think Sony would want to pick up EA. I think if there's any kind of acquisition coming from Sony, they would rather focus on, Square would make more sense for them, given that partnership, and even WB has more of a partnership with Sony than I think EA does. A merger maybe might make more some kind of sense for some kind of deal with EA. I was thinking about like the new PlayStation Plus tiers, and we'll get into more to that later. But having some kind of partnership with EA there, I think would make sense. But a merger or selling to Sony just doesn't quite fit for me.
Yeah. I don't think Sony could afford it. Not to say that they're broke or anything, but like EA is a huge company. Like they're on Activision scale, and obviously Sony's not, a multi-trillion-dollar company like Microsoft that's able to, set that giant cash wad on the table. But yeah, I think a partnership makes a lot of sense, though. Christian, you're totally right there. That would be very smart integration, I guess, with PlayStation Plus and EA games. That would make a lot of sense.
Now, do we think that there's any conflict there because they already have a really close relationship with Xbox, and
True.
they've had that for a long time?
True.
Battlefield has, I don't think, ever had marketing rights with Sony. Battlefield has always been at Xbox's press conferences, and for the past, I think, 2 or 3 years, EA has been bundled with Game Pass Ultimate. So it doesn't seem like there was ever any sort of like contention in that relationship. It seemed like both companies got along really well. So while I think it absolutely makes sense for them to partner with Sony in the sense that Microsoft is already being investigated, and it's like Activision is already such a massive acquisition, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I hate this. I really, really hate this because we're getting closer and closer to this, like, which was originally like this crazy, like, far right, like, oh, just shut up. You guys are way too, like, on about nothing. But it's like, are we really going to get to the point where there's 3 companies that own everything? Like, what is going on here? Why is everyone selling? There's just, like, EA is like a huge company. Like, why? I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on.
Don't worry, Gage. They're going to merge with Tencent.
Embracer Group or something. Yeah.
And then the EA roster is going to get even less diverse. Great. Like, fantastic.
Yeah, it's so interesting how just in the past 2 years, how much has changed in the industry, like with Bethesda and Microsoft and Bungie and now EA. It's like a lot is happening, and it is kind of, like Gage was saying, kind of scary
Right.
to see everything happening. But as for this EA thing, I really don't know. Like it is weird to think about because it is such a big company, like where they would plan to go. Sony, I agree, doesn't make too much sense to me. And I do agree that their relationship with Microsoft has always been good. So that makes the most sense to me. But yeah, I'm really scratching my head to see where they end up. I don't even know where to guess.
The Apple one is interesting to me because I think Apple has been wanting to get into the game space for quite some time.
I saw something about Disney as well. Being a possible one.
Which
I don't know what that would look like to me.
Don't do Disney. That's a horrible idea. Apple's interesting.
What doesn't make sense about Disney is Disney sold their entire games division because they didn't want to do games anymore. So why the fuck would they? Or sorry, pardon my language. Why would they want to get back?
Did you just curse?
Why would they want to get back into games? I just don't understand why.
Captain America would not approve of that at all.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, I need just quickly. I'm going to exit the podcast quickly. My internet is being reset remotely. I don't know when I'll be back or if I'll be back. My proxy vote.
Before you leave. Yeah.
Yeah, is that what we're getting to, the vote?
Yeah, what's your vote?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate the both of you so much. You disrespected Christian. You disrespected the absolute fuck.
I defended your honor
New
with
Vegas.
Fallout. Yeah,
you didn't. You immediately reached for a handout, Dan. You tried to get me to fold for you and your cause. I don't want to vote for either of you, but if I have to, open world. Which one's the best open world? It's Breath of the Wild, unfortunately. Sorry, that's my vote.
Yeah. Go for it.
I mean, the real answer is Fallout New Vegas, but if I have to vote, it's Breath of the Wild. Hopefully, I'll be back. I will be back in a few minutes, possibly not. So that is that. I love you, gents.
More like crap out mid Vegas. Anyway, I've never played that game.
Christian, I can't believe you talk so down on New Vegas. That game's great.
Let's get into PXN's best open world of all time. Of course, we had our polls. We ran them. Let's look at the final results here as I struggle to pull it up because I'm just floating between 2 tabs and none of them are Twitter, so I just keep going back and forth between them. Now.
No.
In 4th place... Oh, Gage is still here.
I am. I'm going to go until I just dramatically exit.
In 4th place with 13.1% of the votes, Fallout New Vegas.
Oof.
Hell yeah!
In 3rd place, Row, 14.8%, Marvel Spider-Man.
The whip.
I agree.
Great game.
Shout out to Black Cat.
Did he beat me by 0.2%? Is that what happened?
1.7%.
1.7, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can round up to 2%, I guess. And tied for first with 36.1% of the votes equally, Elden Ring and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Whoa.
So Dan, you said we're going to just vote ourselves to which of the two should win.
Sure.
Gage already has 1 vote for Breath of the Wild.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Dan, I'm going to assume your vote is for Breath of the Wild?
Yep.
And I'm assuming Christian's is Breath of the Wild. Or it's not Breath of the Wild, it's Elden Ring.
It all comes down to Roshan.
Breath of the Wild.
What?
Okay.
What? Wow.
Whoa!
I mean, it doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah, but what is it?
Yeah.
What have you vote?
I Breath of the Wild is what I would have picked.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a sleep.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Who cares? You know,
It's fine. I I think this is an interesting one to start off with because like Christian, you voted for Breath of the Wild, where we can yeah, Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest open world games. Elden Ring just came out. I mean, Breath of the Wild is pretty recent too, but it's going to be exciting to see when we get to those narrative games where it's a bit more personal. And freaking Dan picks Halo 3, and we're all like, "Why? What are you talking about?" And I picked The Last of Us Part 2, and Dan's like, "What are you talking about?" So that's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. For those ones. So I think we just lost Gage.
I can't believe this is the moment. The Gage's internet decided to leave.
no.
We got Tim Hortons. I want to see him take a sip.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Rest in peace, Gage's internet.
Ro, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's going to get way more interesting when if and when we do more of these. Yeah, exactly. Plus, this is fun. I'm just glad I didn't sell $25 just to get more votes.
Yeah,
I put out one video. I bought Twitter Blue. I'm sorry, never mind. I forgot about that.
I was gonna say because I was literally questioning. I'm like, how did Christian do a longer video than 2 minutes and 20 seconds? Because I knew that was the limit because I have been doing like cutouts and stuff of my videos, and I'm like, how the fuck did he get that long of a video? And I just dropped the F-bomb again. Sorry, but yeah.
So congratulations, Breath of the Wild. You earned it.
The GOAT of open world games.
And we could talk about format, I think, off stream, but I think it'd be interesting to do like maybe some kind of bracket. That way we get more quality titles. People were in the comments saying, "Where's Witcher 3?"
Yeah, that was the biggest one that I saw too. Yeah.
Yeah, where's RDR 2 and stuff. So maybe we can look at doing some kind of bracket style where we have like bigger titles make it to the final round. So.
Yeah, and at least they could also see the history as well, and not be wondering where these games are.
I would have to look at like some.
You're listening to podcast BXN.
From there, but
you're listening.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about like doing one for next month. I don't know if we are, or what theme.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to do another one.
Yes, absolutely.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for PXN. Yes. We'll get into that. Maybe you'll hear more next week.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
But until then, I want to know what you got for me now. So, Dan, what you got for me? What have you been up to this week?
I've been up to lots. And by lots, I mean not really that much. I've been playing Season 2 of Halo Infinite still. Very much enjoying that still. I played Glenn in some NBA 2K. That was a lot of back and forth, but I actually won some matches for once. I kept getting destroyed by Glenn, and I was getting irritated. But I did good this time. But I also, last week, I released my Bethesda and Xbox predictions for their showcase on my personal channel last week. So, yeah, check that out if you want. Search YouTube.
Daniel Friday.
Yeah, on Friday, yeah.
What's
Friday? This Friday. PlayStation predictions for 2022. I don't know when their event's going to be, but, sometime they're going to have an event. Oh, Gage is back.
Sort of.
That's scary.
Eerie.
This is a horror movie.
Quite eerie. Yeah, he probably didn't disconnect the call.
I didn't know Gage's room was a liminal space.
Oh my god. Well, hopefully he comes back. I'll let him know.
Before we move on to your stuff, Ro, I want to congratulate Dan on reaching 100 subscribers on YouTube. So,
finally.
Dan.
Except that I still can't. You're supposed to be able to change your unique URL at 100. I can't do it yet. Apparently, you have to wait so many days or whatever. I guess it takes a little bit for it to refresh. Because I made mine back before YouTube changed the policy where you have to have 100 subscribers. So mine is XDTM3000X because that's what I created when I was like fucking 14. And there I go again, dropping the F-bomb. I just needed to censor myself.
You were on a roll today.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I'm going to pull up my YouTube URL. It's also hilarious. And while I do that, Ro, what have you been up to?
I wish I could buy some time, Christian, because I have not been up to anything. Unfortunately, I've been so busy with school and school, honestly. But I took Saturday off work, so I'm hoping that I will be able to do some video gaming. This is the first time that I've missed the launch of a Destiny season. and it doesn't
Oh.
feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. So I'm hoping that I will be able to at least play a little bit of that this weekend, but probably not. But here's hoping. Yeah, so not much. Been watching some anime, but this is not an anime podcast. But yeah.
Although we wish it was, you know. What I mean? Real quick, my YouTube. I don't use it really much. I use it to watch stuff. I have all my, subscribes videos there, whatever, and I keep tons of playlists there for like categorizing for my Wix, my personal like what do you call it, like an portfolio. So I make all the playlists on that YouTube channel. I used to upload it to it somewhere on the back end. My channel name, I guess, or username is what pops up. But when you look at Christian Macias, which is my display name, I don't pop up. You have to look up my old name. You know what that is?
Yes, it ends in sizzle.
No, it is
No, not that one.
Loverpunk. It is Loverpunk 22309.
Even better.
So maybe I should start uploading videos to YouTube and get to 100 subscribers.
Was that your birthday, Christian? 22309.
No, that has never been my birthday.
Hell yeah.
It was an ex I used to date. That was the day we started dating.
Well, shit. Now sorry.
Look
Anyway,
what you've done. Now you made Christian sad.
So sorry.
I've been playing. Yeah, welcome back, Gage.
Don't sound too excited.
I've been playing. The only thing I've been playing since I got back was Citizen Sleeper. I finally was able to start it up. I was jamming out to some music in the pre-show. Fantastic. I only played like maybe an hour, but max. Yesterday I got a little sleepy and I was like, I need my full attention for this because it's phenomenal. Everything I wanted out of a RPG visual novel, sci-fi Disco Elysium. Just absolutely amazing writing. The vibes are incredible. The music is incredible. Can't wait to learn more. Such a good game.
So
what a
good.
cool game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about it as you go through it.
Yeah. Gage, I'll never guess what you've been playing.
I re-downloaded Modern Warfare, and I've been playing not Warzone, but legitimately just the multiplayer for Modern Warfare, and I'm having a great time. It's a nice, good refresher from playing something like Halo Infinite, which is very long time to kill, very high skill gap, to just running into something that's very chaotic and just kind of like just jumping in. Also, I haven't played it. Obviously, the life cycle. They had that survival game mode that was exclusive to PlayStation for a year, so I never played that. So jumping back into that, and it's not for everybody, but I'm just a fan of like listening to a podcast and just doing these mindless horde modes. So I've been having a lot of fun with survival mode. So yeah, just jumping back into that, having a good time with it. And absolutely, I'm down to play it. It's good stuff. Yeah. I can't wait for the sequel. I'm a big fan of Infinity Ward's reboot. Even though I have qualms with the series as a whole, I think it was a really like Christian and I've talked about before. For Call of Duty, very grounded, very mature. Just awesome. Clean house mission is fantastic. Just so good. Like Farah, it's great. It's good stuff. So that's what I've been playing.
I have a group that I semi-regularly still run Search and Destroy nights with.
Oh hell yeah!
Be fun to get you in on one of those. So I don't know why I stopped talking. Let's move on. Let's move on to the topic of the show: PlayStation Plus Woes. This has since been updated, so it isn't quite correct anymore. But there's still plenty of room to converse about the rollout of the new PS Plus tiers. This comes from Reddit. According to Asian players, of course, the new tier just dropped in the Asian market 2 days ago. At this point now, I believe. Who have the new PS Plus, if you got your sub at a discount, you'll be charged a higher upgrade fee to make up for the discount. Of course, there was a lot of talk on Twitter, people saying, like, this is disgusting, this kind of practice sucks. Like, what is the point of having all these discounts if you're just going to, like, upcharge you? And then what the worst thing about it is, like, it's not... You're forced into that full charge. You can't buy like I just want to upgrade for a month just to try it out. Depending on how long you still had left on your PS Plus before that like ran out and you would have to resubscribe, you would have to pay the full charge plus the the makeup and the discount if you wanted to upgrade. So it was like just insane prices, not consumer friendly at all. Just Sony just like, why are you doing this? We have since gotten an update. Sony confirms it was actually a technical error, and those affected will receive a credit. Doesn't say, based from what Sony said, whether or not they'll get compensated their money back. It just says a credit. I don't know what that means. Could be just like in-store credit, which kind of blows in my opinion. But my question is like, was this actually a technical error, or did outrage, rightfully so, cause Sony to change their minds and they quietly backpedaled? Because they didn't announce it. They were quietly doing this beforehand, and people were reporting the credits, and then they tweeted out, this was a technical error, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not convinced this was an error. Because I could definitely see Sony doing something like that. Obviously, I can't say one way or the other. But in recent times, they've been having a weird history with these weird unhealthy consumer moves recently. So I could definitely see them doing something like this. I'm glad they did fix the error if it was an error, and if it was an error, I'm glad they backpedaled on it. So I'll give them credit with that they fixed the issue. I hope that people are getting their refunds, and as you said, Christian, I hope it's not like in-store credit, because you're still getting the money. Sony's still getting the money if that's what they're doing. But yeah, I'm glad that they fixed the issue. But yeah, I'm not too sure this was an accident.
I'm curious, like what PlayStation's numbers look like in Asia, because like I didn't think about this until you just asked the question, Christian, and now I'm looking at it, and the staggered launch of PlayStation Plus starts with Asia on May 24th, Japan, which is arguably one of their larger markets, on June 2nd, then North and South America on June 13th. Like, did they do this as like a test to see, like, can we do this? Like, will people be upset about this? Like, I'm very that's curious.
I mean, either way, the rollout is smart. Like, you always want to, starting in the smaller markets in case it, if it was an actual technical error, then this is smart because they were able to catch it and rectify it before it goes into the bigger markets. So, that's the one that if it was an error. But if not, I mean, maybe if no one was noticing, or maybe if people did and they were like, whatever, but this is the price to pay, and we just keep going, they would have stuck with it. But luckily, there was enough outrage for Sony to completely backpedal. My question again is just like, having this, and then Jim Ryan last week come out and talk about, or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. Within the last 2 weeks, come out with the whole birthday cake thing for his pets.
Hell yeah!
Talking about like health, women's, about abortion rights. Like, PR must be having a nightmare over there at Sony. It seems like it's misstep after misstep, which, even if it is a technical error, doesn't bode well for the launch of a brand new revamped PlayStation Plus. Like, if anything, we're just kind of more like on our toes about the new service altogether now, which just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a precarious position they're in. It's kind of like, like you just alluded to a little earlier in the podcast, Christian, when Microsoft was in a very precarious position. Obviously not, in terms of the social issues, but like in terms of the image issues with the Xbox One launch in 2013. They were kind of, surrounded with similar questions of like, why are we doing this? Like, this is bad decision making. Like, what's going on? Like, I hope Jim Ryan doesn't go down the path of Don Matrick, because I feel like Don Matrick in the beginning of the Xbox days was okay, because Xbox 360 was very successful, and he was in charge for half of that generation. So yeah, it's very interesting. Hopefully Jim, learns and listens and listens to the feedback.
I don't know if he will.
Yeah,
Jim Ryan doesn't seem like a lot of people are happy with him.
Right.
A lot of people extremely unhappy with him in-house. So much. Did you see, like, when Sean Layden was out, like, if you go through his likes, it was him liking stuff like, Sean Layden, come back. We miss you.
Oh, man.
Anyway, some more kind of woes. I say woes to worry about. We got a look at the classic games lineup. I know you were talking about this last week as well. In the blog post, they were talking about games that were being added. It's not that many, but I do want to also say that they're still, consolidating the PS Now games. But there's like tons of games that were on PS Now that will still be in the PS Plus tiers. I think it's the extra tier, not the premium. That you can find those games at. Yeah, but something I thought was pretty cool was that we are getting trophies with some of these games. It's not going to be all of them, but we already have some confirmed. Wild Arms, Intelligent Cube, Hot Shots Golf, Ape Escape, Baby Let's Go, and Siphon Filter are all getting trophy support for PS1 classics. So I'd love to see more of that. It's not a mandate; not all of them will have them, but some of those that are added, I think, is really cool. And as of today, Dino Crisis is now reporting to come to the PS1 Classic tier, premium tier.
I'm guessing that the trophies will kind of be like a developer by developer basis in terms of whether they're able to get that in. But it's awesome that it's able to be done and that the developers have the option to at least attempt to sort of bring the trophy system to those older games. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you guys. It seems like people aren't completely sold on the PS Plus tier as of now. It seems like it's still like what we have is cool, but it's not enough to bring in new users, and it's certainly not enough to be a proper Game Pass competitor, if you want to call it that, because it essentially kind of is, even if they are different, right? And so I want to ask just a broad question: what does Sony need to do to be a proper Game Pass competitor? And I'll answer it with one thing. We already have seen it with Ubisoft doing partnerships, right? If you look at some of the games present there, you're getting some Ubisoft Plus games. I want to see more partnerships continue. And the way to do that is to get partnerships with indie studios, bring those kind of games back. For newer games, Game Pass is getting new releases all the time. There's no reason why Sony shouldn't be able to do the same thing. Case in point, I think a cool game that I think they could get, two of them I'll actually throw out to you. One is Playdead's unannounced project. They don't have a title yet, but they do have shared that as a sci-fi game. I think a get like that would be huge for a PlayStation Plus game. We also have Stray coming out later this year. Stray would be an awesome get for a premium tier. You can get away with having it be on the higher tier and not be a essential PS Plus giveaway because of that higher cost, and still not have to worry about like losing money on that kind of partnership. I think big games like that would be awesome for PS Plus.
The other thing that I would add, like, obviously they're not going to include first party games at launch like Microsoft's doing, but like, could you maybe do some kind of discount program for your first party? Like if you're in the PS Plus, extra tier or whatever, you get 20% off first party games or 15% off or something. Like even something as simple as that would go a long way, I feel like, for people who are buying, all their first party stuff.
That's a great idea. This is the inherent issue with Sony's. I keep wanting to call it Spartacus, and rather than list off all the tiers, I'm just going to call it Spartacus for the sake.
The tier names are stupid.
For the sake of this conversation. So the brilliance in Game Pass to me is that Sony can't compete, and I think Xbox knows that, and it's something that I've said for a long time. Xbox. Theoretically, they could, but right now they can't compete with the quality of games that Sony makes, and Sony cannot compete with the amount of money that Microsoft has. So Game Pass to me is this really brilliant, if not dirty, strategy of kind of like hitting below the belt where Sony can't really punch back. I think the discounts is a really great idea, Dan, because what I'm getting to is the inherent problem with this is that, you get your first party games. I don't know if they gave a specific timeline, but those games are going to come to you for free, but like probably like a year or so after they launch. So the hardcore player base has probably already bought those games. It doesn't really do much for them, but the discount is a really good idea in terms of if they wanted to try and counter Game Pass. What could they do? Honestly, I think the only real option they have is to go full force into the PC market and to do some sort of partnership with Steam or something where you can kind of get their games day and date if you have some sort of subscription or something like that. Like, I don't think they can do it on their own. They don't have the capital to go out and make all these deals and get, Outriders is still on Game Pass. It was there day one a year ago. Back 4 Blood is still on Game Pass. It was there day one in October. Like, Sony does not have the capital to go out to these third-party studios and just buy their games to have for X amount of time. But what they could do is, like you guys have been saying, is make a really smart partnership. Maybe with Steam. They've been getting along really well with Steam. I know they're investing in Epic, but people that don't play in the
Hmm.
PC space, Epic Game Store is a very minor share in terms of launchers. I definitely don't see them going exclusive with them because Steam just has like 75% market share. So I think it would be a really smart move if they somehow incorporate Steam to some extent. Now that's not really feasible in the current model, but that's the only really way I can see them compete. Is that again, PlayStation? The best thing they do is games. Like I'm a PC guy. I love my PC exclusives that just games that can't handle on console. But there's nothing as polished on PC right now as Days Gone or God of War. These games, like Sony has talent, and that's what they need to push if they want to sort of break into this space. Like they need to get these games out into people. And I think having some sort of maybe PC launcher or some sort of service like that, that's honestly, in my mind, the best way to try and compete because they don't have the money to sort of go toe to toe with Microsoft.
Gage, I'm glad there's someone out there that respects Days Gone because I sure don't.
Guys, we just got a raid of 8 people from Resh. Thank you so much, Resh. That's legendary.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Gage, off the tailcoats.
Yeah.
Oh, Ro, please.
No, it's okay. Just to go off of what Gage was saying as well is that what he was saying about how PlayStation can't compete with Xbox Game Pass. I think I keep saying this, that they don't need to, and what Xbox is doing with Game Pass is something that they need to do, and it's awesome, and I love it. But if they didn't have Game Pass, I don't think a lot of people would be talking about Xbox the way that they are now.
Absolutely.
And yeah, because PlayStation has the games, as Gage was just saying, and people are coming to PlayStation for it, and they're not going to give those games away not for free, but not in a subscription service because they don't need to. And that's how they can compete, but they don't need to compete that way because people are coming regardless. And yeah, I think Xbox just needs to keep doing what they're doing, and PlayStation, I think, would be awesome if they did that PC thing. That would be a great way to get in that market. But the only reason that people, not the only reason, but a big reason that people are in Xbox's ecosystem is because of Game Pass, and they probably wouldn't be having that much success without it. And I think PlayStation is fine without something like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a very watered down way to put it, and I know this is going to make Daniel wince. And this is broad strokes generalization, but yeah, the reason Xbox is so huge right now is for value. The reason PlayStation is huge and has been huge is for quality. Absolutely, Xbox has some quality games that come out that are absolute bangers, but it's not the standard. It's the exception to the rule. But like Rashan said, it's the value. It's the value proposition. That's why they're so huge right now. And for Sony, it's the opposite. Sony, this recent story, like we said, might be a glitch, might not be. Sony is not known for being very pro-consumer in terms of the value you get for your dollar. They nickel and dime you for every upgrade and everything like that. But the thing they consistently have is quality games. Xbox does not have that. So their answer to that problem was the Game Pass. So it's really kind of unique in that way where Game Pass is like something that Xbox needs and Game Pass is something that Sony does not need. And it's because of the unique positions that both companies are in.
Another thing also that I thought of, Discord integration. We still haven't seen that pop up.
Yeah.
Maybe they have that tie-in with their PC, partnership. That'd be a great partnership to say, hey, you get this Discord integration with, PlayStation Plus or whatever, and it integrates with, your PC somehow and Steam library. I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool.
If they did that, it would have to be at the bare essential tier.
I agree. I agree. Yes.
The very first one, yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to just continue this for a bit more. Part of why I think PlayStation Plus is kind of cool for like newcomers is that they get to start to build a library of games that they probably missed if they didn't have a PS4. We saw that with the PS Plus collection. There's since been building on that. If you look at the PS blog, again, they're going to add games now that the new tier launches in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I think that's really cool, and something that they can continue to do with the premium tier is to extend that library to more recent games. And I have a few examples. I'm kind of outing a project that I've been working on. I'm doing a project with Redacted on games that we need to see come to PlayStation Plus Premium. So I'm actually going to go through some of those. The first that I can think of is quality titles that have recently come out. And the first one I think of is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We've already got a few of those Ratchet & Clank games in PS Plus, I think having that come to the premium tier, I think, I don't know if there's many people still buying Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart now, maybe a few, but having that be something in the premium tier, I think could drive a lot of people there. Another one, more like quality titles, right, but a bit more mid, maybe people missed out on Sackboy Big Adventure. I think that will go a long way of people who are like getting, if you liked Astrobot, that game comes free. Check out Sackboy Big Adventure. Maybe you didn't have that at launch. Now you can play this game if you have the premium tier. I'm actually going to name a few more. And this ties into VR. If they want to build their VR library, the best way to do that is to offer some backwards compatible games from the first VR. That maybe if you want to have people, like if VR2 is compatible, I'm going to assume it is right now. Well, let's give you some games that you maybe missed out on PSVR 1. And you can start that with, we already packaged in Astrobot on the PS5. Let's give you Astrobot Rescue Mission for free if you are signed up for the premium tier. And you can do that with tons of games. Like look at Moss, or you don't have to give Moss 2 away, maybe just Moss 1. But you can start to build a library of games that you can start to associate with PlayStation on the premium tier. And those games are newer games and they're quality, and they start to build that library for you. I think that would go a long way to make it a Game Pass competitor. Again, those are just big quotes there. Yeah. Any ideas for old or new games that you'd like to see come to the service?
I feel like literally all of their PS4 library should be available. Like at this point, nobody's buying PS4 games on PS5, so like at least I wouldn't think they are. So like just make those accessible. Which I'm not sure exactly how many aren't already, but I'm sure there's some out there. Obviously, Horizon came out a few months ago, so it's probably a little too soon for that. But maybe tail end of the summer we get Horizon thrown in there. Yeah. Returnal
Horizon's this year. I don't know. Returnal is already in there as well.
Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, you are getting Returnal. Something that I just again thought of. How can I forget to bring this up? Is work out some deal with Konami. We had the Silent Hill. We had the Silent Hill HD collection available on PS Now. That's just expired this month, just last week. Get Silent Hill on there at the bare minimum, and do whatever you need to do to get the Metal Gear Solid franchise. There is still no way to play Metal Gear Solid 4 other than on a, PS3. Why? Like, I think people would be happy with at least being able to stream that game via one of these services. So, move heaven and earth. We are paying premium prices. Let's get some premium products and bring the Metal Gear Solid series to the PS Plus collection.
I'm going to give you a curveball for an answer. I don't want any games. I just want the games available to be downloadable and not streamable.
Even better. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that'd be nice.
I will never disagree with that. Yeah, 1000%.
Yeah, I love them to do some like partnerships with studios that they're close with, like you were saying, like do a Konami partnership and get those games on there. I would love to see like older Persona games be a little bit more readily available.
On my list, bro.
Yeah, those ones that would be awesome. Obviously, Persona 4 Golden is stuck on the Vita. It would be awesome for it to be able to be played on the PlayStation, and of course the older, super old games that you can't really play anywhere. So yeah, that'd be awesome if they were to bring those to the service as well.
I thought of a new one. We're all excited for The Last of Us, right? Let's assume The Last of Us remake is real, happening, that comes out in the fall. Cool. Where's The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5? That upgrade comes out. We have to pay for those. Let's just assume we have to pay for those, right? But here comes Factions. Here is Naughty Dog having us pay for, Sony having us pay for TLU remake and a PS5 port of TLU 2. Will they make us pay for Factions? No. You throw it into PS Plus.
Ooh.
You play it there.
At what tier though?
True.
Or
that's the question.
Is The Last of Us Factions? I mean, we know it's grown in scale. We don't know to what extent. Is this one of their 10 live service games they want before 2026? And if it is, does a subscription to the highest tier net you their battle pass whenever that comes out every 3 months?
Oh, that's
you get
interesting.
If you have an active subscription, by the time the new season of Factions rolls around, you get the whatever pass or thing for free. I think that could be an easy way to sort of that's how you get that core audience to have a reason to sort of have that premium subscription.
To re-up the sub every time. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know. This could be a cool service, and it seems like we're still in the very like baby steps of it, and I'm very excited to see how it'll evolve. So I have hopes, guys. I have hopes.
I mean, we have all the ideas. It doesn't seem
Well,
like
they do, and
PlayStation is.
then-
Yeah, I'm excited too, but it just seems like we're getting some bare bones stuff right now. But yeah, here's hoping the future is as exciting as we hope it is.
I mean,
It can be, at least.
the only thing I needed was Ape Escape, and I got that more with Ape Escape with trophies. So
Yeah.
like I'm a happy camper, I suppose. The other thing I would want is manifesting Naughty Dog sci-fi game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That game's like 6 years out, though. You know that, right?
No, man.
The trophies idea for the originals is just insane to me. That's really cool. And actually, a bunch of people in the Xbox community were like, "Hey, can we get that for original Xbox games?" So that, yeah, excited to see more of that.
I wouldn't doubt they do something like that in the future.
Yeah.
If it works out for Sony, yeah. Cool stuff. All right. Well, congrats to Breath of the Wild again on winning PXN's best open world game.
Yes.
We will confer ourselves whether or not do this again. I'm sure we will do this again, maybe soon.
Yeah.
And which theme we will choose. So stay tuned. Otherwise, thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Apple Music.
Sure.
Thank you, Ro. Thank you, me. Thank you, Gage. I am Daniel. I'm just kidding. I'm just reading it. Thank you, Dan. This has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love.
And keep on gaming.
See ya.
Adios.
Thank you, everyone, for rating us. You were so nice. Thank you.
Yes.